Hey, Eric here from 5minuteinvesting.com, and welcome to one of the stock analyzing video for Investing Accelerator. So I'm decided to do a call midway through the week because there are quite a few stock submissions this time, and I just want to clear out some of the stock picks and just clarify a few ideas. So right now, Steve has submitted a stock called Twilio, and Seta also submitted a stock called CMV. And I have listed out their reasons in which they want to select these stocks. Yeah, I guess I can dive right into it. Now explain why they're good or not good shortly. Okay, so the first one, Twilio. So the reason for selecting this stock is because it has positive momentum and the product seems to be cutting edge. So for those of you who don't know this company, which I do not, then let's look at what this company is. Twilio is a cloud communication platform as a service company based in San Francisco, and it allows programmers to make and receive phone calls, send texts, and so on and so forth. So basically, it's a communication software, okay? So now, of course, when Steve submits this stock, he has a much better understanding of Twilio than us. Now, when I start an analysis, I usually just go like this. I teach you this in depth within Investing Accelerator. So the first thing I look for is a trend. Now, obviously, for Twilio, it just IPO'd not too long ago, back in 2016, and you see that there's an obvious positive trend. Now, the second thing I look for is timing. So the question is this a good time? Now, if you're looking at the price of the stock right now is at $100. Now, historically, it has never been this high. And you know that if you just look at the range of this stock, usually it will go down to around from 86 to around 66, and then from 96 to around 72. Okay, so there is some range to this stock, but at the same time, you also see that there isn't some range and the stock doesn't really touch this red line, which is 100 EMA. This is one of the tools you'll learn within Investing Accelerator. So looking at this stock alone, looking at this chart without doing fundamental analysis, news, valuation multiples, and so on, do you have an advantage? Now, this is an important question, and we go in depth within Investing Accelerator, but the question is, do you have a price advantage? Are you buying at a discount? And if the answer is no, then I'll just move on to the next stock. It is actually quite simple. And when do you have a discount? You will have a discount when the price is closer to the Bollinger Band or the 100 EMA. And at least, right now the price is at the previous high, so that's really not a discount. Now, let's say you go like, Eric, I know this stock is not at a discount, I still want to invest. Then you want to think, well, what happens if the stock just randomly fluctuates and drop by, $20? Because that seems to be the trend you can see right here. In the past, it always dropped by around $20, and right now you're near the high. So if it is 100, it might drop down to 80. And if you are okay with that, and in my experience, it would drop even more to around 64 here, then I wouldn't rush into this stock. And when I'm doing my analysis, or when my students are doing their analysis, they will spend no more than 5 seconds on this stock because they know that they're not buying at a discount. So this is really the beginning, right? I'm not even doing any analysis over this stock yet. And I already know that it's not a good time. Maybe it is a good time when the price drops for 20% or so, but right now I wouldn't invest my own money into it. So that covers the first one. The next one is Satya. So good technology and economical healthcare system, great potential. Okay, so let's look at what this stock is. It's actually a Canadian stock. It's not CLSIC, it's CPR Medical Corp. that's actually important because I think Satya is in Canada like me. Okay. So now let's look at this stock. I was going to search it up and kind of go through what it is about. CVR Medical Corp. All right. Canadian stock. Great. I love Canada. So now let's look at this price chart. It went IPO back in 2013, and the price kind of just hovers ever since 2016 between 0.75 to 0.24. Now this is a penny stock. And before I even do any analysis or look at this chart whatsoever, you want to ask yourself, do you want to invest in a penny stock? And that is a very important question because it actually determines who you are. And, do you want to be a day trader? Do you want to be a penny stock trader? Or do you want to be a long-term investor that focuses on a few good opportunities? So for myself, I have decided that I'm going to be a long-term investor, and I'm going to only invest in blue chip or medium companies that are growing. So right off the bat, before I even look at this stock, it is rejected because I personally wouldn't put 20% of my portfolio in a penny stock because I wouldn't do it for myself. I wouldn't do it for you as well. Now, having said that, if I just look at this chart, you're going to realize that there's no trend, right? Because ever since 2012, there is an increase, but then look at the last 2-3 years, there is no trend. So unless you have some insider information, unless you somehow know they're going to launch a new product, or somehow you know something that a lot of people don't know, then you wouldn't invest in this stock as well. So it's really that simple. It's really that simple. Now, while we're at it, let me share something I teach within Investing Accelerator. Okay? So when we pick stocks, you can see actually my stock list here, and I'm just going to pick one, let's say TD. This is a Toronto Dominion Bank. Okay, this is quite a mature company, and this is one of the dominating banks in Canada. I love TD. I actually trade with TD. I only bank with TD and HSBC, and that's pretty much it. Now, if you look at this chart, it is very beautiful. Now, this is very important because you can see that the price increases over time. So that means the longer you hold it, the more money you will make. Now, if I just contrast this to one of the stocks that recommended me earlier, you'll see that the longer I hold it does not necessarily mean that I'll make more money. And this is really the power of a trend. And if I just hide all the indicators here, which don't really matter, you'll see that the trend is apparent even without any indicators. Okay? Even without any indicators, I know this stock has a good trend. And that should be your very first criteria. So when you're selecting a stock, if it does not have a good trend, then that means when you're holding on to it, the longer you hold it, you don't necessarily make more money. Now, if you hold on to a stock that has a negative trend, then the longer you hold it, the more money you will lose. It's really that simple. And the rest is just timing, which you need to know when to enter at a discount. So for example, the stock that Steve recommended has a good trend, but the timing is not that great, okay? And then afterwards, once you go through timing, you need to do fundamental analysis, which is going through the financial statements, going through the ratios, going through news, going through insiders, and going through if there are any new products or whatever problem is bothering the company, all that in an efficient manner. Now, it sounds like a lot of things you need to go through, right? But usually when I do an in-depth analysis on a company, it usually takes around 45 minutes to an hour. Now, this is actually a lot shorter than what a lot of you will expect, and that's actually something I teach within Investing Accelerator. But because if you're on this coaching call right now, you're probably a full-time professional, and you have a job, and I have a job too, so I wouldn't be dedicating more than 1 hour a day. Actually, I dedicate 5 minutes a day on monitoring my investments. And on a weekly basis, I spend around an hour. So that's really my commitment for investing, which is an hour a week. So you want to be filtering and getting rid of stocks that are not ready, doesn't have a good trend as soon as possible. So then you save time on investing. Okay, so we have one more stock pick from Antoni, and I'm going to save that for the weekend when we do our coaching call for Investing Accelerator. And that's it.